Good morning, y'all, and welcome to the studio. I'm Layne and I've got a little tip here for you. One of the questions I get asked most often by new engravers is how do I transfer my artwork onto the piece that I want to cut? And today I have a mint julep cup, actually a set of 4 that need to be cut, and the artwork is rather involved. It's a large plate with a lot of lettering, and normal transfer methods would tend to smear over the course of the day as I'm working on something like this. So I need something that's going to be rock solid, it's not going to wipe away as I'm working, and I've got an oddball little technique I thought I would share with y'all. It utilizes transparency paper and my Brother DCP 7040 laser printer, which is a dinosaur, but it is a robust dinosaur, and that's what I need for this technique. It was showed to me by a German fellow whose name I cannot remember. I apologize. But what we are going to do is insert transparency paper into the front door. I have my artwork already prepped. It's made to size. Now I'm not going to tell you how to do this because you all use different graphics programs and you can get it to this point yourselves. We're going to load that on the bed, and what we're going to do is start the printing process, but we're going to stop it before that transparency reaches the heater, and that's the key to this technique. So I'll give it a start, and the way we're going to do this is by yanking open the door and stopping the whole works. Here's how that works. Basically count to 2, slam the door open, and it grinds everything to a halt. Now, if all is right with the world, we will have our artwork sticking out of the drum, ready to go. And now you see why I need a robust printer for this technique. But what we end up with is a beautiful image that's crisp and clean, and you just can't ask for better than that. Now, this image is really unstable at this point. If I touch it, the ink is going to smear away. It's basically held on with static electricity. It's still in a powdered form and it's uncured. So let me show you how we transfer this onto that mint julep cup. Now for the next step. How do we get our image off of the transparency sheet and onto our cup? So I've got my clean cup here. I'm going to place it in my jig that I'm using. By the way, this is just a jig that I made up myself. It utilizes an old cup fixture from an old New Hermes engraver, but any piece of rubber should work. This was also designed to hold gun barrels. And the next thing we need to do is to cut our image free. And you need to take care during all steps of this that you don't touch the ink, because, like I say, it's held on there with static and it will rub off readily. So we want to leave ourselves a little bit of room at each end to handle it, and a little room on the top and bottom if you have room on the piece. And the next thing we're going to do is to put some Damar varnish solution on the cup. Now this is Tom White's transfer solution. It's a commercial solution, but you can also make up a solution yourself with about 25% Damar varnish and 75% alcohol, or even lighter fluid. You just need something that's going to flash off very quickly and leave the Damar behind. So we're going to prep our surface. Taking care you don't miss any spots. Ideally, you only want to have to do this once. and it dries really quickly. Now here comes the tricky part. With a piece of Scotch tape and the transfer, we're going to make a hinge at the top of the sheet, like so. Now, you might want to put guidelines ahead of time on your piece. We're just going to eyeball it in this situation. And you don't want to touch the transparency to the piece until you're absolutely sure it's lined up, and that's why that piece of tape is there. We're going to line it up, set the piece of tape first, and that's fairly locked in place. Now I'm going to slowly rub down straight with the finger. And at this point you don't want to slide, because any movement will smear the entire image. And unlike some of the other transfer methods out there with transparency sheets, you don't need to burnish hard with this one, because since the ink is just held on with static and the Damar solution is sticky, it readily sticks to it. We're going to work our way around. Now what the tape also does is it serves as a register. It keeps the sheet in place in case you look and see that any spot was missed. In this case we did just fine. Now at this point the ink is still fairly loose. You could smear it with your finger. We need to heat set this ink just like the laser printer would have done it for us. And so the easiest method is typically with a heat gun, but I don't have one on hand here. Since I am a bench jeweler, I do keep a torch on hand. And so I can use a soft flame. I suppose that maybe even a hairdryer might work on high heat. So we're just going to go over this with a soft flame. And here's the beauty of this method, is that once it's been heat set, the ink won't go anywhere. It's like plastic on the surface. So you can slide your finger across the surface all you want, and there's no worry about wiping the image away. And from there, you're ready to cut. Hey, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope this is something you can take back and use in your own studio. I do plan on shooting some more short format videos like this. We'll keep them around 5 or 10 minutes and call them Engraver's Quick Tips. I also plan on shooting some long format videos on the long-term projects I'm working on here in the shop. This is a good example. This is a 1911 pistol that is being worked on by myself and 3 other master engravers. It's the Firearm Engravers Guild of America 2019 auction gun, and I'll be doing all the scroll work and quite a bit of gold inlay on this piece. And I think there are quite a few techniques on here that I can comment on as I'm working, and you might learn something from them. I appreciate everyone who's subscribed so far. Don't quite understand it. The response has been overwhelming. I know some of you have come from Alex Steele's channel, so I hope you enjoy what you see here. And until next time, please subscribe. You can find me on Instagram at Layne Zulke. And until then, keep your gravers and your pencil sharp and have fun at the bench.